This week in news surrounding Israel, Hamas calls for escalation across all fronts. That's the headline. Stay tuned for all the details. Well, shalom, everyone. Welcome once again to this week's newscast. I'm Robert Gottselig, your host. And last week, the Jerusalem Post reported that the spokesperson for Hamas's armed al-Qassam brigades, Abu Ubaidah, called on Tuesday for an escalation across all fronts. Then in a video aired by Al Jazeera TV, Abu Ubaidah praised Iran's attack on Israel and called for an escalation in the West Bank and Jordan, calling it one of the most important Arab fronts. He further went on to say that we call on the Jordanian people to step up their actions and raise their voices. The government of the occupation is stalling in reaching a hostages swap deal and is trying to obstruct efforts by the mediators to reach a ceasefire agreement. Whoa. I can assure you that it's not Israel that's stalling or obstructing efforts to reach a ceasefire. There already was a ceasefire on October 6th of last year, and Hamas broke it. So stop with the lies already. Qatar also expressed its concern that all parties should show seriousness to allow such efforts to succeed. Again, it's not Israel that is to blame. It's those who hate Israel that is to blame. Hamas is a terrorist organization whose goal in their charter is to obliterate the Jewish state. The same is true with Iran. They openly call to wipe Israel off the face of the map, and they are determined to develop a nuke to carry that out. As for Qatar, have a look at this video showing what they think of Israel.
استشهاده نحن لا نستسلم بل ننتصر أو نموت وهذه ليست النهاية بل سيكون عليكم أن تحاربوا الجيل القادم. نعم الجيل القادم إن عملية طوفان الأقصى التي بدأت ما هي إلا مقدمة للقضاء على فساد الكيان الصهيوني الثاني في الأرض وبداية إن شاء الله لنهاية دولتهم بعد تجمعهم في أرض فلسطين كما قال تعالى وقلنا من بعده لبني إسرائيل اسكنوا الأرض فإذا جاء وعد الآخرة جئنا بكم لفيفا وها هم يأتون ويتجمعون في أرض المحشر في أرض فلسطين أرض معركة الجيل القادم شئنا أم أبينا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Seriously? The Al-Aqsa flood, that is the October 7th massacre, was only the prelude to the elimination of the Jews in Israel? Seriously? Friends, that's demonic. And in their warped, sick minds, they try to convince the world that Israel is the one obstructing efforts to reach a ceasefire. And this evil that is being perpetrated in the media has fueled anti-Semitism worldwide and is running rampant in U.S. college campuses and here in our Canadian universities, and yet our political leaders in our countries are virtually silent on the matter. And they refuse to shut down this demonic hate towards the Jewish people. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. In fact, it's starting to look an awful lot like Nazi Germany did in the 1930s. What in the world is going on? I'll tell you, if I didn't have God's word to bring clarity to the days in which we live, I wouldn't be able to make any sense out of it. Because it should be obvious to anyone with a functioning brain that this is a battle between good and evil, right and dead wrong. There are no two sides here. Friends, I believe we're living in a Romans 1 world. Just read verses 16 to 32, where God has given people over to a reprobate mind. They don't have the ability to think clearly. They don't have the ability to common sense. We are living in the last days, as Paul wrote to Timothy. And there is a real spiritual battle going on, and Satan is the prince of the power of the air, working overtime in the sons of disobedience. Therefore, we need to be praying hard for our countries and for our leaders to wake up and restore our land to what we once knew as normal only a few years ago, and put an end to this violence that is being carried out against Israel and the Jewish people. because I'm afraid that if we don't turn this around quickly, God, true to his word in Genesis 12:3, will not bring blessings to our countries, but rather a curse with his judgment and some seriously hard times for this world. So as Bible-believing Christians, I implore you, friends, to stand, love, and support Israel and the Jewish people in this, their darkest hour they are facing since the Holocaust. And I want to remind you that God is taking note, and we will all have to give an account one day as we see Jesus, the King of Kings, the King of the Jews, face to face. And may the words of Asaph in Psalm 83 be a warning to the world, to those that hate God's chosen people. This is what we read in verses 13 to 18. Oh my God, make them like the whirling dust, like the chaff before the wind, as the fire burns the woods, and as the flame sets the mountains on fire. So pursue them with your tempest, and frighten them with your storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek your name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and dismayed forever. Yes, let them be put to shame and perish, that they may know that you, whose name alone is the Lord, are the Most High over all the earth. And with that, and until next time, thanks for joining us on another episode of In News Surrounding Israel. God bless.